Hello and welcome back. In this lesson we'll be focusing on phrasal verbs. We will explore what they are and how we can incorporate them within our speaking to improve our conversational skills. So firstly, what is a phrasal verb? Well, phrasal verbs are verbs plus a preposition or an adverb, or followed by two, okay? Both of them. When these two words are put together, they have a different meaning to what each word means on their own. So, let's look at an example. I can't put up with it. Put up with it. You probably know that the word put means to place something somewhere, such as I put the book on the table. And the word up means to in or towards a higher position. However, when we put these two words together, like that, the meaning completely changes. To put up with means to accept someone or something unpleasant in a patient way. So it means to put up with it means to just basically get on with what's happening. To accept someone or something unpleasant in a patient way. So you have the separate meanings of the words. However, with phrasal verbs, when we put them together, it has a completely different meaning. And that might bring up some difficulties. Because you might think, if one word means this and one word means this, if we put them together, they might have a similar meaning as the two. However, if we use some less common and idiomatic vocabulary, we are proving that we have background knowledge of the meaning. We have shown that we don't just understand the words themselves, but the phrase that put them together. Native speakers, again, love hearing non-native speakers using idioms. It shows confidence in their abilities and that they communicate with more complex methods. So this is the same thing as with idioms, but with phrasal verbs. If you can understand the meaning behind the phrasal verbs, then you are going to show that you have a more complex and a varied understanding of the English language. So another difficulty is that they are verbs, which means that they take a tense and will change according to whether it's past, present, or future. So let's have a look at this example. We have the phrasal verb break up. Break up. And this means to end a relationship, to break up. I broke up with Jane. This changes it to the past. So we change the break, so that's the verb part, to the past, broke. I hope Jane does not break up with me. So this is the present, now. I hope Jane does not break up with me. I've broken up with Jane. So this is the present perfect. I've broken up with Jane. I think I'm going to break up with Jane. And that's the future. I think I'm going to break up with Jane. So, you can change the same phrasal verb into completely different sentences depending on the tense. The meaning doesn't change, just the position of time changes. When this action will happen. Okay, so it's like any other verb, however, it has a different meaning when you add it with a preposition, like up. So, some phrasal verbs have more than one meaning. So, I've fallen out with my friend. So this means to argue and be on bad terms with someone. I eat a lot of sweets. I hope my teeth don't fall out. This means become loose and unattached, usually hair or teeth. So we've got the same phrasal verb, fallen or fall out. So even though they're different tenses, it's still the same phrasal verb. However, we have two separate meanings. So, this can be another added difficulty, of course, for non-native speakers, because you might think you're saying one thing, however, you're actually meaning something else. So you need to pay close attention to which phrasal verb you are saying. So, phrasal verbs and speaking. They can be important for speaking, as someone who can use them naturally shows that they have a good command of the English language, which is what we're trying to achieve. You can also want to be able to recognize them if someone else uses them in their speaking. Otherwise, you may misunderstand what they are saying. Yeah, so this is very important. Remember, speaking isn't just about what you are saying, it's also about listening to what someone else is saying and conversing back. So you need to make sure that you have a good understanding of phrasal verbs so that you can be prepared in case something comes up in conversation. Watch out! Like with idioms or any new vocabulary, you have to be careful with the way you learn them. Its usage needs to be natural. You can't just force it. If you learn some phrases and try to fit them into your speaking or writing to get a higher score without knowing them properly, it may sound unnatural and you may make mistakes which will be noticed by the person you are speaking to. So again, like idioms, you can't just force these into conversation. You need to know the meaning of them, how to use them appropriately. Okay? You may be excited to use them, that's great, but make sure you are prepared and know fully how to use them. Otherwise, like back here, this one, you have two different forms of the same phrasal verb, two different meanings. You might use one instead of the other. However, if you do that, that will sound completely unnatural in conversation, so you must be careful. Okay, so here are some common phrasal verbs. Number one, hang out. Hang out. So hang out is very informal. It just means basically just spend time relaxing, maybe with someone else. Catch up with. Catch up with. So catch up means to meet someone after a period of time and find out what they've been doing to catch up on. To catch up with. Cut down or back on, which means reduce. So you might cut down on, I don't know, fast food, cigarettes, who knows. So give something up means to quit it entirely, not just slowly stop doing it, but completely to stop doing it. Cut out. It's pretty much the same as give up. So cut out means to stop eating something permanently or for a long time. So I might cut out chocolate from my diet. Find out. To find out means to discover. Get along or get along on. So get along or get on. This means to like someone else or like each other. Fall out. Fall out. Fall out means to basically argue with someone or be on bad terms with someone. Not get along anymore. Clean up. Clean up means to tidy or just to clean. And come across means to find something unexpectedly. So we have lots of different phrasal verbs. These are very common ones. However, if you're not aware of the meaning of the two words together, then you might see them in some text or somebody might say in conversation, and you would have no idea what they mean. So, what I want you to do is I want you to practice, look at the meanings, and I want you to write down on a pen and paper some examples within a sentence that you might say in conversation. So, look at the meaning of it. How might you use hang out? Hang out. I'll give you an example. So, hang out. So, hang out means to spend time relaxing. So, when you meet somebody new, you might say, someone might ask you, what do you enjoy doing? I would reply, I like to hang out with my friends. Something simple like that, okay? Just a quick sentence for each of these, just so that you get an idea of how to use them and how they might be used or pop up in conversation. So, here we have a phrasal verb quiz. I want you to look at each of these sentences. So I'll read them out, and I want you to pause the video and have a go and think what they could be. What could you put in these places? Okay, so number 1, I blank with her really well. We are best friends. So pause the video here, unpause, and what do you think it could be? Well, let's have a look. Oh. Maybe I get along with her really well. Number 2, I have a heart problem, so I have to my cholesterol intake. So maybe cut down. Number 3, something with friends is really important to me in the evenings. So what could number 3 be? Maybe hanging out with friends is really important to me in the evenings. Number 4, I hope to something with my brother this weekend. I've not seen him for ages. Maybe catch up with, okay? Because catch up with is when you meet someone after a period of time and find out what they've been doing. This is very bad. I've something with my manager at work. So what could this be? I've what? Let's go back. What could it be? So I've fallen out, which means to argue and be on bad terms with someone. So I've fallen out. This is very bad. I've fallen out with my manager at work. That would not be good. The kitchen is a right mess. I'll have to... what? I'll have to what? Clean up. I'll have to clean up. 7, I something last week that I'm getting a promotion at work. I something last week that I'm getting a promotion at work. I found out that I'm getting a promotion last week. I something an old photo of my father yesterday. I hadn't seen it for years. I came across a photo of my father yesterday. I've completely blank meat from my diet. I'm now vegetarian. So if we go back, when you get rid of something completely, stop eating it, cut out. Yes, very good. I've completely cut out meat from my diet. I'm now a vegetarian. Number 10, I something with the crossword in the end. It was too difficult. What did you do with the crossword? I gave up. So I gave up. I gave up with the crossword in the end. It was too difficult. So that means just to give up, not do it anymore. So, how did you do? Did you do okay? So, remember, it's all about practice. So, go back to these examples. Use them in your sentences. Keep practicing with them. Try and practice speaking with them. See if you can use them in a conversation, or write down a speech where you could use them in it. And yeah, basically just keep practicing and check your answers here. And yeah, I look forward to speaking to you in the next lesson. Thank you very much.